Hi, my name is Alyssa DeVincentis, a PhD student in hydrology at UC Davis. This video is to share with you an exciting project that the Water Management Lab has been working on for the last 2 years called Bright Spots and Blind Spots, a case study of water research in Latin America and the Caribbean. I'm going to provide a brief overview of our project, including our team, purpose, methods, and results. We're a group of scientists with expertise in hydrology, data science, water policy, and civil engineering. We're spread across the US, Europe, and Latin America, but we're all connected by a common interest in water, specifically the future of water in Latin America and the Caribbean. Most of us have either lived or worked in the region and have seen firsthand its diverse and unique landscape that has rainforests, glaciers, deserts, and every water-related problem in between. We're driven to understand the state of water science in this region because it has a third of the world's freshwater resources, but enormous inequalities that lead to very different water management challenges and approaches. This all led to our driving research question: what is the state of water research in Latin America and the Caribbean? To answer this question, the goal of our research was to identify bright spots and blind spots of past water research. Bright spots are defined as topics and locations where water issues are more thoroughly understood, and blind spots are topics and locations that are less thoroughly understood, potentially where future research may want to focus. We use a two-part approach. First, we conducted a data-driven literature review and collected 20,000 articles. We then contextualized those findings by describing the current research landscape. So for the literature review, we modeled the topic, predicted the location, and mapped the citation network of each article. To make sense of these results, we combined hydrosocial data with surveys of water researchers from all over the globe. To provide a little more detail about our methodology, I'll explain how we used machine learning to predict the topic of each paper. First, the words from every paper in the corpus served as observations for our topic model. The model predicts research topics that exist in the literature based on patterns of words that are more likely to co-occur with one another. So here we have red, yellow, and blue as distinct topics. Then we assign a probability, not we, the topic model assigns a probability that each topic was found in each paper. And the researchers come in by identifying what that topic is probably about. So for example, based on this group of words that's in red, we think that this topic is about water quality. So we combined this information with a multitude of other data to describe water research by volume, spread, and connectivity. First, we explore research volume over time. You can see that there's been a significant increase in the contribution of knowledge that this region is providing to the global scientific community over the past 4 decades. We grouped the research by cluster with similar socio-hydrologic systems. So you can see research is not conducted equally across the region. It's dominated by the pink cluster that includes Brazil and Mexico. Research has also not grown equally. Cluster 1 you can see is growing the fastest, while Cluster 3's growth is more modest. A core diagram also looks at research volume, but describes the composition of research in the region by country and topic. So on the left side, again, we grouped research by cluster with similar socio-hydrologic system. On the right side are topics of water research. The width of the connection between the country and topic indicates the proportion of research from each country on a topic. So for countries, we continue to see Brazil dominating, with Mexico, Argentina, and Chile right behind. Notably missing here are countries from the Caribbean and most of Central America, indicating a shortage of research output from these regions. On the topic side of things, physical and life sciences dominate, with the social sciences accounting for a very small proportion of research. So these findings were supported by our survey, where a majority of our respondents worked in the physical and life sciences. Over half of them worked in Brazil and Mexico, and just over 10% said that they did their water research in the Caribbean or Central America. Next, we look at how research is spread and distributed in the region, and we're going to look at a subset of research that's related to different parts of the water budget. First, we can look at individual countries and see how evenly they distribute scientific resources to research different components of the water budget. So here, a high entropy equates to more even distribution. So this is a bright spot for most of the countries, but a blind spot for smaller countries such as Paraguay, some of the Caribbean nations, and El Salvador. This could be because those countries have fewer economic and human resources and need to focus their research just on the components of the water budget that are relevant to their climate. Second, we can look at the spread of individual topics within the water budget. So here, a high normality equates to a distribution closer to the standard normal distribution. We chose this reference point because it best represents high entropy for a defined distribution. You can see here, rivers and precipitation have to be monitored to manage water resources and therefore have distributions very close to normal, and these represent bright spots. At the other end are glaciers and reservoirs that are least normal. This makes sense because few countries have glaciers to study, but the low normality of reservoirs is alarming given the importance of reservoirs for water supply to local communities and their importance to farmers and ecosystems. Lastly, we'll look at research connectivity. So we can observe individual topics with the citation network to see what topics are being cited by one another. The nodes are topics with their size indicating their volume of research, and the lines connecting them indicate the likelihood that they're citing one another. So considering these 5 general categories, you can see most of the citations are going to the physical and life sciences. Looking at a more detailed list of topics, it gets a little more complicated, but one thing that stands out here is the importance of ecology and civil engineering in the network, 2 subjects that look at water from very different perspectives. So what can we do with all of this information? This research highlights important blind spots where future research may want to contribute. We suggest that any water research in Caribbean nations, Bahamas, Belize, Cuba, El Salvador, Guatemala, Haiti, Honduras, Jamaica, Nicaragua, and Paraguay would be beneficial, as well as some of the specific blind spots of topics. The one that we spoke about today was reservoirs. But what's exciting is that we also hope to share this research through an online website where researchers yourselves can interact with this tool and explore some of the locations and topics that you're most interested in.